Hello, everyone. Let's see. Unmute, unmute. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right. Hello, everyone. People are going to start coming in. I thought I would just, get dressed here on camera. How's it going? Let's see who's here. Hey, Jason. Hi. Thought I'd just, be getting dressed while I'm starting. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, girl. So I think you guys, you're muted, and you can unmute at any point. You can check out your controls right there. I am going to quickly adjust. Lisa's here. So anybody that's coming in, know that you can turn off your video if you are somewhere inappropriate or somehow inappropriate in how you're dressed or not dressed. And you can also control your mutes. You can do all those lovely things to make it work for you. Thanks for coming on in. I am excited to be here with you tonight. These are Wednesday night coaching calls that I've been doing for a number of years. For those of you who are kind of coming in for the first time, Jason, I haven't seen you here before, so hello, welcome, welcome. Jackie, I don't think you've been here before either. If I'm looking down, because I'm looking at you guys in the monitor, then back at the camera. So a couple of things. I want to do a little bit of hypnosis tonight. And that means that we want to make sure that you have full control over what's happening in your space. You want to make it quiet if possible. You definitely don't want to be driving. So if anybody has decided to listen in and then you went for a drive, I don't know why you would do that, but we just got to say it anyways. Definitely do not take part in the hypnosis portion this evening if you are driving or operating any kind of machinery. That's probably a good thing too. What we're going to do is very gentle, very like entry level, but it'll be awesome none the same. And it's all about tapping into those alpha waves to create change. And so tonight we're focused on getting a boost. We want that boost in our mindset, in our energy, in our life to help us continue to get where we want to go. And so these Wednesday night calls are something that I opened up for the month of February to anyone and everyone. I haven't actually marketed them that much. So each week it's been different of how many people have come into them. It is, I'll give you a little understanding of where they came from. This is a guidebook that I created in 2010. It's called the Info Journal Guide. And this is very pink because it was totally created for women. And this is a guide for the Mind Body Fit Club. So fun because I literally wrote, produced, printed, designed the entire thing. I think I made best friends with the lady that works behind the counter at Staples Print Center. And I think I had like 350 of these babies ordered each time. And she'd go, oh my God, like, help, help. This crazy lady De'Anna keeps coming in and ordering these books. But you know what? Back then in 2010, I was just making it happen, right? I was just making it happen. And I was so inspired to create Mind Body Fit Club that I didn't care. Like I had a shoestring budget and I just, had this download that I was going to do this thing and it became a thing. And so I literally created the entire thing. So this is when the Wednesday night coaching call started, was 10 years ago. And I tell you this because I never, ever, ever want to forget that inspiration. And I remind you of things in your life that you have been so inspired by. And then sometimes you lose your way. Have you ever had that happen? You just kind of lose your way or you lose your oomph. Somehow, like the wind left your sails, right? And whatever, something happens. And I just think it's so good. To me, this is a symbol. I have actually like a few of these that I
brain cells
in my garage. And
here.
one that actually
I was like,
on my
I
desk.
just saw.
And I never want to forget where it all started. But before this started, 10 years before that was when I first got on stage doing hypnosis presentations. And it was from, I remember that very first time of getting on stage and just so scared and had that same fear, like most people do, of public speaking. Overcame my fear. And in the beginning, because I just wanted it so bad. I'm like, I need to share this stuff. Like, hypnosis is amazing. And are you picking up on some of my Valley Girl language there too? Like, hypnosis is amazing. And I felt so changed by hypnosis that I needed to get out there and just do it. Like, I learned the skill, I went through the schooling, I did all the education, and then I needed to just flail myself out there and do it. And all these things have happened by facing the fear, moving through them, and just doing it anyway. I kind of came up with this mantra of, it follows along the lines of feel the fear, do it anyway. I say just do it scared. Like, you know, just do it. Like, Nike's got to be the most amazing, simplified marketing brand, you know, thing that we can say, a phrase we can say, that just, yeah, take action. And I followed that suit for sure. And I'm sure many of you have as well. Of just do it scared. For me, I was like, I can't be fearless, but I can do it scared. Because anytime I just blast through doing it scared, I tend to not be scared anymore. It's just like a veil that you pass through. And then when you get out there, you're in the space of where you really wanted to be anyway. So I call that now the risk reward zone, because you do have to risk to gain that reward that's on the other side, and it's always worth it. And so after getting on that stage in 1999 was my very first show. I started going to schooling for hypnosis in 97. And then in 99, I did my very first show for Camp Pendleton for the Marines. And I just didn't look back. I just charged forward, scared as crap so many times. But it's now been thousands and thousands of presentations and hundreds of thousands of live audience members. And, you know, leading me from one thing to the next. So doing seminars and presentations, creating Mind Body Fit Club, and doing these coaching calls all started from the inspiration of just having the desire to want to help people and to collaborate and to listen, to be a better listener. I don't know about you guys, but are you like me where maybe you haven't always been a very good listener?
De'Anna,
or do you pride yourself on that? Because if you do, like,
This is a live call.
put it in the chat, man. Put some tips in there. I have learned to become a good listener. And I know it is from the expertise of my coach. And all these years now of coaching other people made me a better listener. I was one of those kids that was like headstrong and just, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Are any of you like that? Raise your hand if you are. Nobody's raising. Oh, you are? Okay, good. I'm not alone. Okay, good. And if you guys don't have your video camera on, use the chat. You guys continue to use the chat. It's so fun because you can talk to each other and be like, yo, De'Anna, I know, I hear you. I hear you. Exactly, yes. And if you, this does not have to be just total agreement with De'Anna, because I'm okay with you not agreeing with me. All right, let's just get that straight. But I think that we can learn from each other either way. So use the chat. But, you know, I think that anything that we've accomplished, we need to never underestimate that accomplishment. Let me put my little book back over here, because it is the very thing that has led us to where we are. And sometimes I have noticed, not just sometimes, throughout the journey, and I think you'll resonate with this, sometimes we forget to trust ourselves, and sometimes we lose our confidence. Agree? Disagree? What do y'all think? Yeah? I noticed that even in my greatest achievements and triumphs, like you get to that mountain peak and you think, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna go higher from here. But sometimes you don't go higher, you go back down and then you gotta climb another mountain peak, right? And a great friend of mine's speaker, her name's Gwen Tebow, and I heard her say one time, I heard her from the stage, and she said, you know, you got to travel through the valleys to get to the next peak. And yes, that's so true. But this is what I love that she said next. She goes, but you don't have to camp out there. You don't have to camp out in the valley. It's so true, right? We're meant to just keep on cruising along. Yes, we're going to get to that mountain peak. We're going to look out at the view. We're going to marvel at it. And then we got to go back down. We got to go to the next mountain peak, because when we got up there, we saw that, oh my gosh, this is not the only peak to climb. It's not. Now that I'm here, I can see all those other peaks out there. And if any of you have actually been hiking, which I would imagine most of you do, but I don't know, Ruth doesn't like to sweat, so maybe not. You said it here in public, so I'm just repeating it, Ruth. Maybe, but you can walk slowly and not sweat going up a mountain, I think. But for those of you that have done any kind of hiking, you know that that's actually, the metaphor is true. You get up there and you go, oh my gosh, I was all about climbing to this peak, and now I see that there's all these other peaks to climb. It's just true. So then you go back down. And when you go back down, you need to remember not to pitch a freaking tent in the valley. Don't effing pitch a tent. Don't light a fire. Don't pull out your dehydrated food and invite friends. Sit in your valley with you. No.
Anything they offer.
You want to grab a hold of the people that are coming through the valley, and you go, aha, let me follow them, because they're headed out to the next peak, right? And so that's what we are doing here together tonight. We are gathering our tribe, and we are hiking together. Now, I say this, having also just signed up online to hike Mount Whitney, which is the tallest peak in the lower 48 contiguous states. And I kid you not, I hiked it at 11 years old, and I thought it was 12. I thought that I hiked it when I was 12, and I've always been so grateful to my father that he made me, and I will say, made me hike that damn mountain, because it gave me a lot of confidence. And it went dormant for a while, as we talked about, self-trust and confidence. It went dormant at different times in my life. But doing it at 12 was a pinnacle experience. And there were times in that we did it slow. We all carried our own packs. We had about a 30-pound pack, which is a lot, you know, for 11-year-olds. And we carried our own food, we had our own sleeping bag, you know, all that stuff that you have. And my dad knew that, you know, we were going to power up the hill, or the mountain, I should say, to the tip-top peak, where the actual weather system is different than down at the base, because it's that high. But he knew you know, we did it over 3 days, so we camped out 2 nights to the peak. Sometimes people do it in 1 day. And that's really gnarly. It's really only recommended for people that are amazing athletes, that are trained and ready for that kind of thing, because all kinds of stuff can happen at that elevation. And my stepsister and I both did end up getting altitude sickness. Oh. And altitude sickness is like a headache, and your stomach feels horrible, and you just feel super shitty. And it doesn't make you want to hike. It's like the last thing you want to do when you get altitude sickness is continue. But we did push through, and we made it to the top of that peak. And we have pictures of, you know, next to the elevation sign, which is actually very unimpressive. It's not a very big sign, but we're standing next to it, and, you know, no trees even grow up there because it's so high. And it's just all, you know, that granite rock in Southern California. And so to do that at what I thought was 12 years old, my stepmother corrected me today. I was on the phone with her, and she said, you know, you were not 12. She goes, you had to have been younger than that. So we started figuring it out. And she goes, yeah, you were 11. And she goes, in fact, if you do that this year, it will be your 40th year anniversary to, again, climb that mountain, climb that peak. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do it. Like, that just sounds too good, right? I have to do it. And so I'm trying to get my stepsister, because she was there with me. I'm trying to reel her in. I keep sending her text messages. Okay, we got to do this together. She's like, what? What? But I swear I'm going to talk her into it. So I say this to you because we have to continue to put those goals out there. We've got to continue to decide that life is worth living. And I know that sounds kind of like dark, but seriously, like, if we're real with each other, don't you have those days? Maybe not everyone does. Maybe some people are just more naturally up and happy. But I think that from my perspective and the clients I coach and what this, I continue to, I stay in the know with what's happening in the world, and a lot of people are fighting depression. A lot of people are fighting off illness. A lot of people are grieving. A lot of people are day to day trying to find that thing that's going to lift them up that day. And so I think it's very important that we take every step with active faith. And you've probably heard me say this before, but woo, I am a believer in active faith. And in every moment, dark moment I have, I always know that I'm going to have that conversation. And for me, you know, it's like whatever name you go by, source, spirit, God, even that for me took a lot of working out based on how I was raised. I needed to figure that out for myself as an adult. And I'm so glad that I did. And I hope that you have taken the time to do that. Work through your stuff so that you can feel supported. And we are certainly also supported here by getting together in collaboration. And so self-trust and confidence, those two things can often elude us on our journey. And I want you to just, and if you take a moment to just write those two things down, because as soon as you recognize, you start to create clarity. And clarity is that thing that we need to get ourselves up the next mountain, right? A lot of times, clarity is also what we need to even name what that big next mountain is going to be. Because we want to go, we want to experience life, we want to achieve, we want to, you know, work towards that next thing or overcome. Maybe there's something that you're overcoming, and it could be some of those things I named, like, you know, losing weight or getting healthier again, getting your fitness going again, getting to that next level in a career or a job, or maybe mending some relationships that have been estranged or difficult. Whatever that thing is for you, clarity is a very important, gosh, I almost want to think of it as a tactic as well, like a thing you do to create clarity, because it's very needed. It's that flashlight, right? So that you don't feel like you're in the dark just wandering around, but you know where you're going. So clarity is very important. And I feel, based on the research that I do, as well as the work I do on a regular basis with my clients, and you guys, this is the thing, being a hypnotist, a lot of times people think, without understanding exactly how it works, a lot of times people think that as a hypnotist, I'm coming into your minds and it's one direction, right? I'm telling you how it's going to be, or I'm feeding you affirmations. Yes, that is true when you're listening to maybe one of my hypnosis audio sessions, which I have 24 products. Maybe because you're listening to me talk to you. But even then, it might seem like it's one-sided, but it's not. And it's because your subconscious is always open and listening. So if you're listening to one of my hypnosis audios, your subconscious is open and listening. And my goal is for you to meet me with those words, for you to meet me where you're at, and that my words become your words, that they infiltrate your thinking, so that you're not recycling the same old crap and you are adding a shift in there. And if you don't just recycle the same old thing that might be negative, maybe you are more of a positive thinker or beneficial thinker, But now you're doing that collaboration effect, and you're like, ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good idea. Because it is that energy and that spirit in which we grow. So it's never one way. Now, if we're also working together in a collaborative form, one-on-one, it's also not where I come into your mind, right? It's never, it's always a back and forth. It's like a beautiful high-level tennis match with the best top performers. Because I know that the people that work with me are always people that want to get somewhere, they want to go somewhere, they want to clear something out, they are motivated. If you're not motivated, you don't sign up for that kind of thing, right? So we're like a tennis match, but we're on each other's team, so we're sparring partners, I guess is the better way of putting it, because it's never just one-sided. It's like, I'm coming in, I'm giving you framework, and you're filling it in with your best stuff. It's such a beautiful collaborative experience, and because of that, I have learned so much from my clients, and self-trust and confidence tend to be the two things that people wrestle with the most inside their minds. And that space in your mind is so important to keep clear and have that clarity, because it's everything to what you're going to experience in your life. It's your happiness. It's your creativity. It is your emotional intelligence. It is that mind that is really not just your brain, but your mind-body experience is everything to the quality of your life experience. And so you want to have it clear, right? You want to have it like a garden of flowers that are growing. And what would it be if you got a bunch of freaking weeds growing in there that you have not pulled? It's not very pretty anymore, and it's not very clear. And so your job as a growing human is to get in there and pull the weeds that are mucking up your garden. And man, self-trust and confidence, they are beautiful seeds that are growing in your garden. And sometimes people get them confused. So let me be clear on that. When you find yourself in that valley, and you're going through a troubling time, a transitional time, which, by the way, is constant. We're constantly going from peak to valley, from peak to valley, from peak to valley. Life is not one big wide open meadow, right? Where you're like, I see, I can see across the meadow. No, it's full of twists and turns, and we're going up that mountain peak, and then we're coming back down the other side, and then we're looking for the next trail. So this idea of self-trust, when you are going through those transitional periods, there are times that when something happens, it jolts you. And you get worried, you get in fear, you get in this space of overwhelm, you get confused, that would be part of the overwhelmed, and you start going on survival mode. You're like, oh shit, the oh shit moment, right? Oh shit, survival mode. And it just doesn't serve you in the best way. It doesn't, survival mode does not connect with your greater beingness. It does not connect with your true creativity. Survival mode is fight or flight, right? And it's that thing that fires off, and it disconnects us from our higher consciousness. It also disconnects us from the people and the loved ones that we hold in greatest value, because we go inside and we get scared. So we tend to lose that ability to trust ourselves. And the most powerful thing you can do when that happens is to go back into that deeper part of you. And I always want to go here, like, right? When you put your hand on your heart, you guys just try that for a moment. Just put your hand on your heart for a moment and take a deep breath. Like really, truly connect, get past any moment of thinking it's cheesy, right? Or silly, and just take a deep breath. HeartMath Institute in Colorado has proven the resonance that you have with your heart. There's all this scientific proof that your heart actually gives off an energy. Just doing that, that is the simplest thing you can do to come back to your self-trust. Because when you do this, what are you really saying to yourself? And just notice it. What does your self-talk say? When you just take a moment to breathe, maybe you close down your eyes, and you just get connected. I want you to put it in the chat. What does that self-talk say as soon as you put your hand here and you connect? Put it in the chat. What does it say? For me, it says, I got you, babe. Right? Like, I got you. Or it says, you're not alone. You're supported. Or it says, you're going to figure this out. You've risen before. You're going to rise again. That's what my self-talk says to me. What does yours say? I want to know. I'm going to take a moment to look at some of these. Love this. Love that chat. It says, why don't I take a breath more? I like it. Right? Jackie, I love that. Jason says, I'm fully here. Yes, Jason. Oh my gosh, yes. Ruth says, I love you. My self-talk says, I love you. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? And look what we did. How easy is that? How easy is that? So simple. It's almost so simple we just forget. And so, you know, that's the very first thing I just invite you to remember tonight and every day. You're going to figure it out. Because the truth is, when you go here and you trust, oh my gosh, that resonates with the universe. That sends out an energy. And if you're a believer of that, you know, it's quantum physics. You're resonating with an energy. It says, I got you. I trust you. And to take it a step further, I remember, and I'm just thinking of this right now, just as I'm putting my own hand here, there was a time after my mom passed away that I was so just, whew, I felt so odd. I felt so awkward just in my space because I had been traveling along like all, you know, in my ego and in spirit as well. It's both, right? We're constantly going back and forth, but I personally have made it a real, commitment to be more spiritually connected since I turned 30. That was, you know, I left my parents' home, and then from that whole age, like for a decade until I turned, you know, it was like 12 years to where I was like, figuring what that meant for me. But now for 20 years, I'm 50. I'm going to be 51 next month. At 30 is when I figured out like what my spirituality is. And so I remember making that commitment. And when my mom died 7 years ago, all of that stuff that I've been working so hard, you know, to create in my life, it rocked me. It rocked me to the core. And so when I go like this, it makes me also want to just take it another step further. And again, you got to let go of all cheesiness with this, you guys. And it makes me just want to, it just makes me want to do this. And I invite you to do that sometime as well. And if you want to do that now, take a moment and just, again, you got to take a few breaths. Get past any kind of, you know, feeling of anybody watching you or you just feeling silly. And just sink into that for a moment. For me, when I give myself that hug, it makes me feel loved. It was the hug I never got from my mom. She was not a hugger. And I started doing that. After she died, I started talking to her spirit more and more and more because I was trying to figure it out. And for all of us, we have something that will rock us. And sometimes they're bigger than other times, right? The regular rocking is a whoo, gotta be ready. But sometimes things are bigger than others in our life. And for me, that hug was just taking it to the next level of like, you're loved, De'Anna, you're loved and supported. And those people are all around you. And right here, just you are here for you. You are here for you. And that matters. That so matters that we feel that from ourselves, because that also is self-trust. Wouldn't you agree? That's also self-trust. So let's shift over to confidence. I invite you to remember those two quick things at any time in your day, before you're going to bed, when you wake up in the morning. Practice those little exercises. The more you practice them, the more you'll feel confident. We'll do that segue, confident that they work. When you go to sleep at night, that's when your subconscious is, it's wide awake. It's paying attention. Before you get to REM sleep, to that deep sleep, you're traveling through states of consciousness, and your subconscious is wide open. So as you're talking to yourself and you drift off to sleep, your mind is paying attention. And so just notice that when you go to sleep, you can do that as well. You can get in that hug position, you can put your hand on your heart and start to just think of those things of, man, what's possible when I trust myself more? What's possible as I trust myself more? I'm committed to trusting myself more. That will give you a confidence that stays with you. And it's also seeding your mind. You'll wake up, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, you will wake up with ideas. Ideas. Your subconscious will be firing off like fireworks. You'll wake up with ideas. And instead of going to bed with worry, because I bet some of you have done that. I know I've done it. Instead of going to bed with worry, go to bed with confidence to trust yourself more. Ask that question, hey, I'm confident that we're gonna figure this out. And I ask my superconscious mind to bring it to me. Please bring me the answer, because I know it's there. That's faith, that's active faith. So going to sleep like that is something you can really do. So as you shift into being more confident that this works, this is self-hypnosis, you guys. I don't even have to come in and hypnotize you for that. You do it for yourself. How awesome is that? Anytime you want to do it. It's there for you. Confidence is that thing that if we are putting ourselves out there, we're climbing to that mountain, and you don't have the skills yet built to get where you're going, you're going to be picking them up as you go, right? You're going to be picking them up as you go. And it kind of reminds me of, what is that video game? Like some of the 80s video games where, like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. I used to love Miss Pac-Man. Oh my gosh, I'm totally dating myself, right? What's the one with the rockets? And it comes down, choom, 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 choom. And you don't remember that one? Centipede. Come on, you remember Centipede. Aaron, you were way too young for this stuff. You need to ask your mom. It's okay. I used to be killer at Centipede, and it was like high anxiety. Like you got the little remote thing, and you're like, you're moving your little rocket around and hitting those. But this is the thing that comes your way in both of those games. Comes like the power fruit, right? The stuff comes along, and you like, you grab that thing, and you all of a sudden you get superpowers, like or your rocket, you get extra rockets. You earned them because you grabbed the superpower. That's what happens with your confidence. As you pick up skills, moving towards like, hey, maybe it's more sales, maybe it's more connection, maybe it's, and I always want you to think of this. If it is more of a money or a prosperity thing, I want to give you this little tip. This is something that I've broken through in my mental block. So you guys ready for it? We could always have more money block tips, right? How to break through them. My money block stuff I worked on it like solid 5 years. Like I've been relentless with this one because I just knew I had them. I just knew I had money blocks. And I only knew that because I was already doing other work inside myself. And then I started to go, oh, shit, I got money blocks. And there was not just one, but multiples. And I just kept working through them. And one of the things that I really, really noticed after, and I won't go into telling you all the money block stories. There's some good ones in there that I broke through. But when it came down to simplifying it, is what I realized is money is not energy. People go, oh, money's energy. They're all spiritual about it. Money is not evil, not the other, like the opposites, right? Like, oh, money is so this and money is so that. To me, those are extremes. Money is energy. Money is evil. I don't think it's either. I think money is just a thing, but it's the people behind the money that make it the thing. So money is evil if you make it evil. Money is energy if you make it energy. It is the behaviors and beliefs behind the money that gives it the power. Otherwise, we're just passing it around. It's just a thing. It's just like food. Food is just food. It can't soothe your emotions. It can't make you like feel better when you're sad. Food is literally there just required for your energy because you need it to live. And same with money. You need money to live. There is nothing bad about that. Woo, that's amazing, right? And money is not there for you to turn into this egomaniac of like, look what I have. No, it's there for us to pass around, to empower whatever we want to empower with it. And it's important. We needed that currency to pass around. But money is just a thing. But what you give to it, what you make it mean, is what it means. So this confidence, when we go back to this idea of confidence and having it, confidence is that thing that people are always after because they believe, this is what I've noticed in my work, they believe they need the confidence to get where they want to go. But where you want to go is often somewhere you've never been. So you don't have the confidence. Confidence is earned. You don't just have it. If you step in as if you have it, you certainly can put your shoulders back and walk with like more, okay, swagger. But that doesn't mean you actually have it. It just means that you're faking it to pump yourself up, right? It just means that you're like, okay, I got to act like I am so I can convince myself and convince the other people too. But truly, if you don't need that, you don't need that because you're going to gain it as you take the risks. I guarantee you the reward will be more confidence. But what happens so many times that I see is either A, people don't get going until they can have it, which could be never, or they only go a little because they're like, I'm not really confident yet. Well, when I have more confidence, I'll do that thing. Oh, hell to the no. That is not what you're supposed to do. That is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take the action. Just take the action. Like, be as prepared as possible. I'm not saying flail yourself out there because I do really feel that if we're going to be excellent at something, we want to be prepared, right? I would never recommend that you just get up on stage and just do your thing because if you have never done that before, your message may not come across very strong because you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to engage an audience. You don't know how to tell your story to where it's meaningful and maybe you're going to like cry through the whole thing, or maybe you won't tell enough of the emotion of it, right? Because you're holding back. Like, don't just, you need to be prepared. I'm just giving that as one example because a lot of people want to get up and speak. And having told my whole stories from the stage, let me tell you, there is an art to it. But you want to know that you're going to be prepared, whatever it is. You're going to prepare and you're going to go out there, you're going to earn that confidence. So let me ask you this. Isn't that awesome to think that you are going to be rewarded with confidence by just going out there and doing that thing? Not holding back like that reward? Oh my gosh, you guys, it is a gift for your soul, for your spirit that nobody can ever, ever, ever take from you. Confidence. But do not get it confused. Don't get it confused with self-trust. Because self-trust is that thing that you have even when you do not have confidence. Just think about that for a moment. When you trust yourself to put yourself out there and you go, you know what? I have no idea how this is going to turn out. But I do know that it lights me on fire. This thing that I want to do, it lights me on fire. And I'm going to trust the vision I have in my mind. Because I'm going to trust that I know that I didn't just make it up. I have a vision. I have a thing. I have a calling. I have a whisper in my ear. Have you guys had that where for some people it's like, you need to do this, and you still ignore it? Has anybody done that? Jason, have you done that? Aaron, anybody of you ignored it? You have? Jackie's like, no, I don't ignore it. I'm going after it. All right, I've ignored it, but I also had, like, when I became a hypnotist back in the day, it was literally like Las Vegas neon signs, just full on, like, do this with a big freaking neon arrow pointing to it. I had this week of like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And a friend said to me, you should be a hypnotist. And he was qualified to say that. He goes, you can do this. You should be the one on the stage. And I was like, not me. I don't know. Who's going to listen to me? He goes, you should do this. I literally got off the phone with him, went to the gym to go work out. After my workout, I sat down in the lobby of the gym. I opened the newspaper to see like what's happening in the, you know, in the community. And this gigantic ad said hypnosis school. And I was like, oh, come on. Come on. It doesn't happen like that, but yes, it does. That's the big arrow, like, hello, pay attention. So sometimes we ignore it, sometimes we hear the whisper, but the truth is, wouldn't we all agree? We all have something, right? We all have something. And when you just trust yourself that that something is calling you, and it's calling you forward to step in. It's stepping in. You're called to, what is it? Trust yourself more. I'm telling you, it is the number one thing that has, in every single hypnosis session that I've done, which is a lot, thousands, over the last 20 years, for every single person, what I am always in the session, we're always guided back to is them trusting themselves. Because everything else is false. We can build you up in your mind, you know, and have that champion moment. But I always find that the vision is stronger if you value your self-trust. And it's a very solid place to be. One of the things that I've created in my business that I go out and speak to corporations about is values-based goal setting. And values-based goal setting versus projected goals is very different. Projected goals are that thing that you don't know how to do. They're that thing that you put out there, and it's like, oh, they're bright and shiny. Oh, okay, yeah. And we're often asked by the higher ups to reach towards that, or if you're an entrepreneur, you're reaching towards that, but you don't know how to do it. So you get all messed up in your minds. And you go, oh, but if I just believe, it'll happen. But isn't it true that sometimes that's not, because we don't just believe, right? We get all in our head about it. But the one thing that will bring you back is self-trust. And so in my values-based goal setting, what I ask people to do is I ask them to value the struggle, to give them the lesson that allows them to value that lesson more than anything. So what have you learned that you now value more than anything that will take you to that goal? And typically, people will come up with things like, I really value that I connect well with people. Because if you value that you're a good connector, guess what you won't be afraid of doing? Picking up the phone and making that sales call. Or if you value, I value that I've always been someone that's been able to make friends easy. If you value that, then you'll plug that in to whatever you're doing that's going to require a collaboration, partnership, joint ventures, you know, going down a cold call sheet, or you know, getting out there in that networking meeting. Like, think of the ways. There's so many ways. So what you do is you start to intrinsically value what's in you already and attach that to the goal. Aaron, I hope you're listening, babe. Because he and I have gone there with this together. This values-based goal setting is so incredibly powerful because you'll always be connected to it. You know, they say that when man and or woman is connected spiritually to anything they want to do in life, they have supernatural power. There is a power that comes into that cannot even be explained. We've heard the old folklore that, like, the woman the car was on top of her child, all of a sudden she had superpowers where she could lift the car off the child, that she could never do that when she's just in her analytical mind. Now, I don't know if that story is actually true, but it is a folklore. We've heard it before, right? But I do believe that it is most likely true, because we hear stories of things where people pulled off stuff that shouldn't be possible. Like, a miracle happens. And it's because they got out of their analytical minds and they connected. They connected with the source that was just beyond. The closest thing that I can think of when I resonate, and can you think of some things? And if you can, put them in the chat, because I want to know. What I think of is two things. One, when I had a baby with no pain for the hypnosis, like how was that even possible? Because other people are, you know, screaming down the hall, and I was able to go, and it was very practiced. It was not like, oh, I'm so amazing. It was very practiced. Let me tell you, as Carrie Tushoff's Hypno Babies program that I practiced for 6 weeks before that birth. And I did it diligently, because I knew I did not want to walk into that birthing center with fear. I wanted to walk in with confidence. So I was very prepared. Notice the words that I'm using. I was very prepared, and I knew what I need to do, and I trusted it. And let me tell you, it worked. Lots of pressure, but no pain. Incredible what the mind can do. The second thing I think about is, like, marathons. I knew that if I was going to listen to that voice of, like, oh my God, it's only mile 10. Oh my God, it's only mile 11. Oh my God, it's only mile 12. And I'm listening to the aches and pains in my body. There was no way I was going to crawl across the finish line. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. I was going to peter out, as they say. Find a tree to crawl under. But no, you got to listen to that part of your mind that takes you to another state. Because states of consciousness are real. And often we get in that state of mind that is a mentality that holds us back versus pushing us forward. So how about you guys right now engage with me, and we'll just connect to our superpowers for a moment. Does that sound good? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. This is what we want to do. Aaron says, I'm listening to the chat. I'm reading the chat before we go into this. Aaron says, I'm listening, but also cooking. Sorry, finding humor. Thank you, Aaron. All right. So let me see. Let me just minimize my screen for a moment, see where we're at. All right, cool. Let me take you to a space of self-trust. Put your feet flat on the floor. Separate your hands, let them be loose in your lap. And you can use me as a focal point. I'm used to it. Focus all of your attention right here on me. Don't take your eyes from mine. If I blink my eyes, You might notice that your eyes start to get heavy and drowsy and relaxed, but I want you to keep your eyes open for as long as possible. In a moment, I'm going to begin counting from 5 all the way down to 1. This is a self-hypnosis process that you can do easily on your own, and so I'm just going to walk you through it. You can just pick a focal point. Tonight, I've asked you to use me. So as you focus your attention on me, I'll begin counting down. On 5, your eyes will begin to feel that heaviness, that relaxation. By the time I get to 3, you're going to allow it to happen even more. It's important that you do because this is a team effort here. And by the time I get to 1, you'll allow your eyes to just go closing tightly shut, entering into that space that feels so wonderfully good, where you can more easily just let go. So right here, right now, as you focus your attention on me, taking a deep breath all the way in. Breathe in deeply and breathe out easily and effortlessly. With each and every easy breath you take, you become more and more relaxed. As you engage with me in the words that I give you, and just allow yourself to trust me in this process. I promise I'll take good care of you. So as you breathe with ease, you let in breath. And when you're ready, you release and let go of used breath that's already been used by your body, oxygenated. You breathe in, you breathe out. So right here, right now, any sounds around you in your background, just let them relax you more. Let them be the sounds of life going on around you as usual. But right here, right now, as you notice your focus right here on me, the 5, your eyes now begin to grow heavy, droopy, drowsy, and relaxed. In fact, right here, right now, 4, it's as if your eyes becoming so wonderfully at ease. It's as if tomorrow is 1,000,000 miles away. And you're somewhere in between. Right now, 3, allowing your eyelids to feel so at ease and comfortable that they begin closing, closing, closing if they haven't done so already. Just like garage doors, wanting to simply shut. In fact, 2, allowing a heaviness, creating it in your mind, imagining it right along your eyelashes, a heaviness taking place right there in that specific area. Imagine, visualize it, and allow your eyelids to wonderfully be closed if they haven't closed already. And 1, be there now. Be there now with your eyes closed down, beautifully shut. And focus inward and target within yourself a feel-good feeling that you can create now in your heart space. And so as you now focus in specifically right into your heart, I ask that you resonate with a vibration, a humming of slow, purposeful energy, if you will. It'll look and feel different for each of you. You create your experience as you simply follow the framework that I give you. Thank you. So as you now just imagine, visualize, or feel, know it's there. A humming, a slow, warm, purposeful energy that resonates with a feel-good feeling. And in that feel-good feeling is a representation of all that you value in your life, all that you have valued, bringing the past forward, bringing its greatest values and lessons forward. And I ask you to just focus in on that beautiful, warm energy. Notice what you value most. What has the past taught you? Honoring that struggle from the past. Honoring that greatest value and turning them into one and the same. What do you value most that you now can simply plug into what's ahead? Being right here in the now and having such incredible gratitude. Trusting that value right here, right now. I trust that this value will take me far. I trust that this that I value will take me far. And I ask that you include the ripple effect of all the people that you will impact and ripple effect upon. I trust the value that will take me far and bring others with me. Those that I don't even know that I will connect with, or those that I value greatly now. Trust. Trust in what you value. Trust that it is here for you on purpose. And even your greatest struggle has taught you what you value most. So imagine, visualize, or just simply feel as if you now, on the count of 3, are plugging that value into a goal ahead of you, whatever it may be for you, as if you just connect it, plug into it on 3. Here we go. 1, get ready. 2, and 3. However it resonates with you to plug in whatever picture or feeling you have, plugging it into your goal now. Supercharging, connecting, creating deeper trust, a willingness to step forward and earn that confidence, a willingness to be open, excited, earning that confidence by simply trusting yourself more. And so it is. Notice what you notice. Feel what you feel. See what you see. Experience what you experience. And in a moment, when you come back to eyes open in the room as I guide you, bring all those things back with you. 1, slowly, calmly, easily, gently, slowly. 2, coming back slowly. Knowing that it's your superpower. When you slow things down, you create clarity. And you remember that when you're hurried or anxious, remembering to slow things down and to trust yourself more. 3, excited, a positive energy as if it's moving through your veins, awakening you, breaking through, what once held you back. 3 and 4, seeing with new eyes. And on the next number now, coming back to full awareness. And 5, wide awake, back together again. Take a moment. You don't have to, if you don't want to share here in the chat, but just share like, oh yeah, what did you get something? Did you get, and if you feel like sharing, share that too in the chat. I noticed that I could do this exercise, the self-hypnosis technique, over and over again, and it's never one and the same. Sometimes I'll get similar visions if it's something that I'm working on, but new stuff comes to me. And so it is a practice. It's not a one and done. And it's really beautiful because when I need to remember to trust myself more, it's there. And it shows me what I need to do next. And sometimes it's really, really humbling. It's really humbling because you might be all up in your head like, I know what I need to do. But then when you check in this way, it's something different. It's something different and something really golden that your ego might have missed. So Jackie says, I loved it. It feels good to slow down. I get distracted. Yes, it's so true. Me too. I think it's such a great thing because when you slow down, you can observe. You can observe yourself. You can observe your mind. And sometimes you just catch yourself saying stuff that's just not even true to your head. And you can pull out of that faster and easier. So what's your biggest takeaway tonight of our time being together? We'll close. I hope that you have found this valuable. These are these coaching calls that have been the glue that I started 10 years ago. They happen every Wednesday night at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. We have people that will come, and sometimes we have more than others. When I market it heavily, of course, we have more people that show up. But it's something that I've been offering free here for February. And if you guys want to continue to engage, I'll send you guys all a link so that you can check out the details, the cost, what it is for us, and what it requires of you. It's really a commitment that you give of yourself so that you always know that you have that person to lean on. I'm here for you. I love this work. And I'm always bringing strategies. You know that you can come here, you can get filled up. And it goes beyond motivation, you guys. Motivation can be somewhat, it's great when we get it, and then sometimes it can be fleeting. So if it's something that you're interested in, reach out. And if I'm happy to talk about it, but I want to make sure that this is of value to you right now. So if you want to know more about it, just reach out to me, and I'll connect with you, and I'll give you more information. What was your biggest takeaway tonight? That's what I want to know from you. Write it down here. What's your biggest takeaway? Focus on self-trust. Yes, I love that, Ruth. Yes, absolutely. And I see that in you. Yeah, you're a wonderful person, and you're doing awesome things in the world. Jason says, saw what I've been hiding from and avoiding. Oh, Jason, that's so fantastic. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you received that. It's beautiful, fantastic. I actually have chills. I love that. And Jackie is, slowing things down. So Aaron says, trust yourself and remember to be an observer of your life as well as a driver. Absolutely so true, right? Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I'm going to post this recording. Thank you so much for being here live. I appreciate you. And I just want to acknowledge you all for showing up and being in the driver's seat, like Aaron says. It's such a fantastic way to be, and taking charge of your life. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah.